Positive psychological approach at workplace. This is the topic of discussion in this presentation. Welcome everyone. So let us proceed with the agenda. Agenda, what is a positive psychology that we are looking around it? Remember, positivity counts and it makes things happen. Experiments with positivity, the flow state. We'll talk about self-care at work, managing with positive psychology, and the relation between positive psychology for organization. Why is it required? What does it means to it? So let us start with what is positive psychology, and I believe everybody understand or must have come across this phrase. People have been saying to one another as be positive, be positive. It's your thought process. Think on a clear terms, think on a lighter aspect, think on the bright side of the issues or the event. So, what is positive psychology? It is concerned with your strength, building the best things with life, making lives of normal people fulfilling, nurturing high talent, investigating positive outliers altogether. So that is what is positive psychology. It is your strength that we not to harness around it. We don't concentrate on the weaknesses, building the best things in life, building what you think is going the right way, and making lives of normal people absolutely fun filled. Normal people who are looking at the right aspects, probably doing what they enjoy the most, nurturing high talent, investigating positive outliers. So, reversing the formula, what does it mean? Success. Does it create happiness? Probably not. Or even if it creates happiness, it creates happiness momentarily. It is not a lifelong. It doesn't stays for n numbers of years altogether. So success, you bask in the glory at that moment, but after the moment has passed around, you automatically become a normal, or should I say, even an ignored person altogether. So positivity increases the chances for success. Definitely, yes. Positivity is what we should always aspire for. I'll talk about optimism. Why you should be optimism? Because it increases motivation, because it makes us spirit free, because it increases sales productivity. Optimistic salesperson, it has been found, sells approximately 35% more insurance than a pessimist salesperson. If you are harping only on negativity, probably your performance will actually reflects your thought process. So think good and only good things are going to happen to you. Improve physical health as the case might be. Experiment with positive psychology as a case around it. What are the three gratitudes? I will speak about three gratitudes in details in the subsequent slide. We should maintain something called journaling. What is journaling? Is basically whatever thought that crisscrosses your minds, can you keep a note of it? And at the end of the day or the end of the week, can you sit with your notes and see what are the thoughts that have been crossing around, how many of them were positive, how many of them have been negative, and try to eliminate the negative thoughts, probably work around it, go do about the process. And how do you eliminate the negative thoughts? As to question yourself, why did this thought appear in your mind in the first place? What went happen? And whatever did you think, the negative thoughts, whatever did you think, did it actually happen? If not, why did you think in the very first tense? So another way to control mind would be on meditations. Probably think, stay alone, focus on a breath, take inhale and exhale, count it a number of times, relax your mind. Appreciation letter is one positivity culture that can be done in an organization, which will spread good and warm feelings in them, within the employee community. Cognitive trainings for optimism, and probably my best thing scenario is change your question, because once you change your question, it can change your life. Let us talk about three attitudes. Train the brain to scan for positive. Now, this is what happens around it. I said you can write it down in your journals, right? About whatever thought that is crisscrossing your mind altogether. Can you, no matter how depressing the situation is, Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel? If not, train the brain to scan for positive. Now, allow in journaling process, allow your brain to relive a positive experiences. If things are going all wrong, think about an aspect, think about a perspective wherein you were enjoying yourself, wherein you were in a happy state of mind. That is what journaling is all about. It. This is where you need to understand and relive. Probably open your journal and think about the positive aspectation. Meditation is scientifically proven to help. It is spending time with yourself. You are the only person with whom you have spent the maximum amount of your time in your life. It is not your sons or your daughters, it is not your parents, it is not your spouse or your partner, it is not your friends and your families, but it is you with whom you spend the maximum amount of time. But do you know, most of us ignores ourselves, but this is the time of meditation when you can spend some time with a wonderful person, that is you, which will help you in overcoming stress, decreasing in the blood pressure. It will boost creativity, cultivate healthy habits, increase focus and attention, as the case might be. Let me talk to you about pro-social generosity, appreciation letters. This is one thing that I believe has a positivity rubbing in all of the employees. Money spent on pro-socially creates more happiness than money spent selflessly, as the case might be. Encouraging pro-social behavior enhances team productivity. Appreciation letters increases. I am sure it increases by manifold happiness. So please try to spread love. Please try to spread appreciation and warmth within your vicinity. Cognitive training for optimism is all about identifying self-defeating belief, the negative thought that is crisscrossing your mind, the demeaning thoughts or process that is happening right now at with you. Please, please disengage them. Gather evidences to evaluate accuracy of self-defeating belief. Did I say even if you can write it down in your journal, whatever thought have come across at the end of the day or at the end of the week or possibly by the end of the month, those self-defeating thoughts, did it actually see the light of the day? Probably not. But then that thought actually made you a little less confident. And that is what is self-defeating belief is all about. It replace, I repeat, replace maladaptive thoughts with more constructive and accurate belief. Accurate, I say, is practical things that happens around it. Until and unless there's something bad happens, why do you think it out and probably spoil your present moment? This is what I keep on saying. If you are being bogged down with problems, then probably change your question, because then it will give you a different perspective to handle the problems. If you can change your perspective, you can change your life. If you can change the way you thinking, or if you look at an issue or an event in a different angle from an angle's point of view, you will come up with solution which seems very relevant, very out of the box, but very much manageable and acceptable nevertheless. So yes, it's you who can determine your ultimate goals and realize your expectations in your life. So change your questions will change your life. The flow state, which I keep on saying, it is the flow state that people are about always going around, be it on overall performances, productivity, creativity, or for that matter your focus as such. We keep on changing, and believe me, at certain point of time you are playing a role of a manager, probably a supervisor, probably a son, probably a daughter, probably a family person, probably that of friends. You are the same individual but playing a so many amount of roles that comes around it. Now you need to tell me what is that flow state. Focusing on for engagement is what we are looking into it at that point of time. What are you focusing upon? The engagement. This is all about intense motivation, concentration with or without no distraction. If there are concentration, for example, you must be trying to watch this video, but there may be, I presume, there might be a lot of noises in and around you. So how do you concentrate? People might use earplugs. People might use other techniques altogether. So you need to understand with distraction or without distraction, Your concentration should not get diminished. Complete immersions, clear set of goals that require appropriate responses, high skill levels and high challenge levels as the case might be. Getting to know your strengths is always pair up with somebody. Think of a time when you felt most happy in your career, a time when we're having fun and probably enjoying your job altogether. So, can you get to know your strength? Explore with your partner who create a sense of happiness and fulfillment in your life. What did you do that contributed to the sense of happiness and fulfillment? How did you react? How did the workplace facilitate this experiences? What skills or strengths did you use? How could you plan to have such an experiences like this one more time? Excellence one more time. Making choice. We will talk about self-efficacy, believing in our capacity to produce desired effects. That is what we are talking. The self-efficacy. It is the love for your own self. It is that respect that you give it to your own self. That is what is going to enhance your capacity. Self-efficacy determines what choices we give ourselves to, how much we persevered is what has been the important thing. The more choices we make, the more we can build the self-efficacy is the questions of the option that comes around it. Now, talking about your brain and concentration and how do you enhance those three steps altogether, let us talk about approximately 12 breaths is what it takes. Inhale, exhale, one breathe that comes around it. Inhale, exhale, and you do it three ways. Whatever happens with an issue, an event, the event might be tiresome, humiliating, fun, happiness, gay, absolute spectacular moments that you go around witnessing through. It will be a memorable events that you are going through. It might be happy or a sad one, but give your reactions with three breaths, letting go of the past. In the sense, you should not build or pick up any baggages from the past when you are giving your reaction. Take another three breaths, letting go of the future. Don't think about the future when you are supposed to give a reaction. Take another three breaths, coming into the present moment, enjoying or probably reflecting what is actually going through. Take the last final three breaths. After that, 12 breaths, you arrive to the right level of energy, creativity, and concentration. Here you give a reaction, and that is where you will see you have done the right, struck the right chord every time. So take those times of letting go of the past, letting go of the future, coming to the present moment, and then probably arriving to your conclusion and giving your reactions thereby. Always remember, never give your reactions when you're too ecstatic or very happy or too depressed or very angry. Never give any reaction. This might be more detrimental towards you rather than on anybody else, as the case might be. So, self-care at work is what we look into it. Definitely, yes, we need to take care of ourselves. Now, how do we go about their needs? One way is socialization. Please have a network of people with whom you are talking around and probably are able to relate to rest, play, and probably reflection, as the case might be. This is what is important with the passage of time. Managing with positive psychology, personality, behavior, satisfaction. What are we looking into it? The positivities in our psychology. We are out here. In fact, this presentation is nothing but positive psychological approach as workplace. So, can we have certain good things, good vibes in us that can be cultivated and cultured? Appreciative management. First and foremost thing about positive psychology is appreciation. Is show appreciation for your work, for the work of your co-workers, for the work of your seniors, for the work of your subordinate. Absolute appreciation for the desired work behavior. Let's say university employees who heard messages of gratitude from supervisors made 50% more fun. Absolutely. Raise call to those who did not. If you look into it, it's just an example that I've given around it. Be specific about the behavior and the positive outcomes. What actually excited you? What actually excited certain behaviors in others that had a rub-in effect, show them, tell them, and you will ensure that such kind of positivity will always exist in the workplace. Praise as frequently as possible, and no matter how big a praise is, or no matter how small or minuscule the things are, give praise. There's nothing wrong in giving praise. You don't end up losing anything. Praise poor performers also when you catch them doing something right. Your poor performance, if they are doing something right, probably appreciate them. You will see the change differences in due courses of time. Make recognition public so that group sees is who gets rewarded. Talk about the three motivators. They are autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Nothing can beat these three motivators. If you give autonomy to your team members, if you give a mastery over their projects, over their work scope, nothing like it. If you define the scope of the purpose or the objective clearly to everybody, you will see a marked difference in their performances, and there will be a positive approaches. Workplace will become only happy. You look into it, there are three kind of faces where someone is morose, somebody is so probably not happy at all, but then there is this person who is happy and gay all together, and we want such employees, right? As it is the positivity um, dividends that comes around it. Let us talk about the positive devices before we wind up this presentation. Community engagements to identify a problem. Ensure that you are not responsible or not only the source for the problem or the solutions to the problem. Can we not can we not divide the problem within the community and solicits inputs? Community engagement will ensure the problem is met in the right fashion, and it will be tackled into the right degree altogether. Seek out those who succeed even facing the same challenges. Surface and spread the story of what works and what does not. Empower members at every level of the community to lead. Ensure that people are working for the betterment. This is called positive divines, as the case might be. With this, I come to an end of this particular presentation of positive psychological approach at workplace. Thank you for watching this video with me.